Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Every Sunday here in the Deadly Nation, we do a Ask Deadly episode, so you guys can leave anything in the comment section, and I do my best to answer as many questions as possible in under 10 minutes or so. So let's get started. We're going to be starting the day off talking about ghillie suits from DayZ King. Do you feel that the ghillie suit and DayZ are where they should be at? Because it's easy to tell where you are unless you were laying or standing in a tree. Do you feel that they should be improved? Also, I don't see too many gameplays of you with the ghillie. Well, that's kind of how a ghillie suit is supposed to be used. The human eye is really good at tracking movement, but if you have somebody in a full ghillie suit sitting in a tree or in a nice wooded area that's laying prone and not moving at all, the point is for you to be completely concealed, or for the most part, but to a trained eye, especially in video games, I'm not really talking about real life here at all, but in a game like DayZ, if you have certain graphic settings, or if you are very experienced, you can tell the difference between a ghillie suit and a regular shrub. But also with a ghillie suit, you don't wear a backpack, and if you're sitting in the long grass and you're prone, even at distance, players can't see you because you actually go below the terrain. So the game rewards players who are actually using cover in open big fields with lots of thick grass by hiding them completely from view. There's really only a few areas on the map that can really truly utilize that type of strategy, and on first person it's pretty difficult because you have long grass all around you, so you're never actually going to be seeing anybody. So where that works best is on the first and third servers, where you can get behind a lot of long grass and you have that visual. You can look over and spot players without them even seeing you. It can be a pretty powerful thing. The primary reason why I don't build ghillie suits is they do take a lot of time. You need to get 4 pieces of netting, and I believe it's 12 burlap for the entire set. So 2 for the ghillie head and 10 for the full ghillie. You can build like the ghillie tops and the bush rags, but they're just not as good as the full ghillie suit. The ghillie top's not bad, but if you're going to be spending a lot of time and energy going after the ghillie, you might as well make the entire thing. And add in another 2 burlap strips if you want to build the gun wrap. So it can take a lot of time, but if you're having a bad day, let's say you're just getting your ass kicked in PvP, or you're just not having a whole lot of fun, going out into the deep wests towards like Kaminka is a pretty fun way of playing the game, because you do get the netting and burlap that you need, and you can start building ghillie hoods and gun wraps. That's usually what I go with. I don't typically go with anything other than that, just because I'm kind of a pack rat and I like my backpack space. Next question coming in from JP Pester. For years I'd played DayZ on a flipbook on my shitty laptop, but I finally got a good PC. What are the best towns to visit that have the strongest player interaction? I would say Stroi, Goglovo, Novi Stari, and Gorka. Those are the towns that you want to be going towards, because that is where, if I was to even guess, like 30 to 40% of the player base is going to be in that area on at least DayZ Underground servers. So if you're going to be looking for any level of PvP or just messing around, that's where I would search for first. But people kind of spread out throughout the entire map these days, so even if you go to villages like Zelenogorsk or Kaminka, like I was mentioning earlier in this video, you will have a chance of finding people out there, because we always seem to. Next question coming in from Marcus. Dude, can you give me some advice on how to avoid kill trades and to become a better sniper? I usually meet a lot of hostiles and both of us end up dead in a coffin. Kill trades are very difficult to avoid because it's up to the server's performance. You can try to land, I would just say, now this is good advice and it's going to sound really silly, but try to avoid standing directly in front of another player whenever you're doing firefights. Like, try to strafe to the left or to the right, like the front left or the front right, like holding W and shift at the same time to do like a forward fast front left strafe. Because you want to make sure that you get the shots on target and then you run. You don't stand there and like let the guy continually shoot at you, because they're in that window of the game is still trying to register how many shots have actually landed and if the player should go uncon or get killed or not. So if you are confident, let's say you have an SKS in your hands and you land 4 SKS shots, immediately start strafing or serpentining or start running away to avoid any level of player contact, because you know that player is going to die, because it's impossible for the guy to survive 4 point-blank SKS shots in DayZ standalone. It just cannot happen. So the more experience you get, the more likely you'll be able to survive those encounters. But for the most part, man, kill trades happen to us all, and there's very little that you can do to stop them in the current state of the game. I guess the last piece of advice for that was to try to play on servers with the lowest ping possible. That might help you out. And as for sniping, again, with everything, and this isn't just with video games, but this goes for anything in life, the more you practice, the better you'll get. There's no like little trick that you can learn to become a better sniper in DayZ or in real life, for example. Just get the sniper rifle, get the hunting scope, and just do your best to try to get used to the ranges and how far you need to lead. And to be completely honest, a lot of the time, I'm just doing the best I can. I'm just shooting where I think the bullet needs to go. And a lot of the times it doesn't work out because of server performance. Again, I'm going to say it, like, you're on a server sometimes and the server is performing well, the weapons are going to register, the rounds are going to register at a much faster rate. And a lot of the times, like for example, if you go back and watch my Makarov headshot video and you go and take a look at that, I barely leaded, if that's even the right phrasing, the right grammar there, but I barely led my target at all with that Makarov shot. In fact, the guy was actually running away from me and I basically shot when the Makarov was on his head, and he did die. And if you go back and watch that clip, the blood splat actually hit at a different point, because on my screen, the player was actually in a different spot compared to where the server seen him. So it's very confusing. So all I can say is just do your best, and hopefully in time, DayZ will become better with that. But until then, there's nothing you can do. That's a very long explanation for this, but I'm sure it's a common question and a lot of people are wondering this. The next question coming in from Lastra Corp. Hello from England. If you were in charge of Bohemia, what changes would you make to DayZ to improve it, and what features would you add to the game to make it more immersive? Honestly, dude, they're doing the best they can. So I really wouldn't add anything else to the game that they haven't already planned on adding. So you can make up all these really cool ideas, and you can have all of these awesome thoughts, but unless you execute on them correctly, they mean nothing. So there's a lot of things that are supposed to be coming into DayZ that just haven't actually made it into the real stable branches yet. That I think it basically covers everything. So I know that's probably not the answer that you're looking for, but everything that's currently in the game files that isn't introduced to the game, I'm excited and waiting for. And any features to add to the game to make it more immersive. I know that a lot of people want that stamina and weight system. I think the more items that your character is carrying, the slower that you should move. So like to reward players who are rolling out around without a backpack, they can travel faster. People who are carrying a lot of lighter equipment, I think that needs to happen eventually. I know it's not really something that the developers want to introduce until vehicles are actually working correctly, but I would like to see that. Also, I would like to see inertia, so you can't do the stupid serpentine shit that you can do now. I would like to see a system like Escape from Tarkov. You cannot serpentine very easily in Escape from Tarkov at all. It's possible, but if you've played the game, you know it's very difficult to do because of the inertia system preventing you from doing impossible shit. So serpentining is actually one of the things that actually when it happens, I find it very difficult to land my shots. So I would like to see that changed. Other than that, I think the game's going in the right direction. It's just being developed far too slow. So if they could speed up production, that would be fantastic. Next question coming in from AK Mr. Blonde. When you encounter other survivors in DayZ, do you have a rules of engagement that you go on to determine if you're going to kill them or not? Or does it vary with my mood? It definitely varies with my mood. Let's say I have a day where I've been constantly dying at the Northwest Airfield. I'm probably more likely to actually be more aggressive when I'm on the coast with other survivors. If I'm just jumping onto the broadcast at the very beginning of my play session, I'm more likely to want to encounter them, meet them, maybe even roll around Chinaris with them, especially if I'm lone wolf. If I'm with my squad, if I'm with Ace's Fury, we're pretty kill on sight because Ace's loves the PvP and the action. he doesn't mind the role play, but it's not really his thing, so it's also the company that I keep. If I'm playing with Johnny Rotten, you guys have seen it, we pretty much don't shoot on sight anybody that we see. So it just depends on the type of people I'm playing with. With Aces, it's definitely more PvP and military focused. We're up at Tizzy Military Base, we're at Northwest Airfield, we're killing on sight. When I'm with Johnny, we're kind of being assholes on the coast sometimes, we're just messing around. And when I'm by myself, I'm actually a fairly friendly survivor, unless people are being like racist or rude or being too aggressive, or they're just obvious bandits like camping buildings with their guns out, guns pointed. As soon as somebody points a gun at me, and you don't kill me, you gotta be careful, because I will probably take a sharp stick and poke you in the face whenever you're not looking for it. Also, if I see an opportunity where I could easily acquire a good gear set from somebody, whether or not they're friendly or not, sometimes I just gotta do it. That can be seen as a dick move, but hey man, it's just part of the game, I guess. So I guess it just depends, man. Depends on the situation every single time. I'm very unpredictable, and I think people know that. Well guys, I think that's about it for this week's episode of Ask Deadly. Thank you to everybody who watched all the videos this week and checked out the live streams, and to those that are celebrating Easter this weekend or any type of religious holiday. I hope you guys have a good one, some good food, spending time with family and friends, and I'll see you guys during the daily live streams every single morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and Sundays at noon.